Alright guys, what's up? It's me, Danny Ray Champ, back again with another video. Today, we're going to be going over why I personally got into collecting Transformers, why I think you should, as well as doing a collection tour of my War for Cybertron Siege, Earthrise, and Kingdom figures, as well as a few third-party figures that I threw in there with them because I feel like that they match aesthetically. While we're here at my little workstation, you're going to be looking today at Studio Series 86 Grimlock. I figure until I get an actual setup where I can do like editing and whatnot, with every video I'm going to show you guys a different figure here for you to look at. But without further ado, let's get into the actual video. So if you'll follow me here over to my collection, we'll be starting over here on the right side with a very colorful boy. This is Rotor Storm. He is from the tail end of the G1 continuity. He was released alongside Thunderclash and a few other bots. Next to him we have Highbrow, one of the headmasters, a very affluent bot. Behind them we have Jetfire, big boy, big bot. He is wearing his armor, which is reminiscent of his original Toys appearance. I also have the upgrade kit Energy Blade attached to him to give him a little more character. In the back next to him, we have Dealer, Double Dealer, Clouder, or Double Clouder, bought by many names. He is most oftenly depicted as a mercenary playing both sides of the Autobot and Decepticon war. Why I have him with my Autobots? Well, in my opinion, if I was a mercenary, I would side with the Autobots too, because I would think that I would have a much lower chance of getting shot in the back if I was allied with the Autobots. In front of him, we have Hardhead, one of the other headmasters, one of my favorite bots. He turns into a tank. He has Top Shot and Flak currently equipped to him as his gun. They are two battle masters that combine to form a gun. In front of him we have Warpath. He is famous for using onomatopoeia in his dialogue, you know, whoom, zap, zam, that type of stuff. In front of him we have the Micromaster Countdown, who came with my Omega Supreme, who we'll see in a minute. Next to him we have Generation Select's Deep Cover. He works with the Earth authorities in a joint effort to root out evil and whatnot. Behind him, we have the... one second, let's get this to focus. We have the Wrecker Leader Impactor, somebody who's most commonly the Wrecker Leader, I should say, alongside Springer, with his armor being made up of Power Dasher Zetar. Zetar is a member of the Power Dashers alongside Chromar, Aragon. Currently he's made into a fusion cannon on Impactor's arm, as well as some hydraulic claw arms, like from the movie Aliens, I suppose, is a good comparison. Next, we have Red Alert here, who turns into a fire car. No, didn't know those were a thing either. Next to him, we have his best friend Inferno, who was my first Voyager class figure I got. Equipped to him is Red Heat and Stakeout. Now, those two also combine to form a gun, just like Top Shot and Flak. However, their gun does not look very good. Excuse me. Behind them, this big boy here that looks sort of like Optimus Prime, went to the south and became a hunter, is Triarius Major. Now, the thing with Triarius Major here is that that's not his actual name. He actually doesn't really have a proper name. He's a third-party figure that is sold by the name Sergeant Commander. I said, that's not going to do. So I gave him the name Triarius Major, and the way Cybertronian names work, at least in the IDW comics, is it goes your name and the place you were born or the battle you were first deployed in. So he is Triarius Major of the Samanzi Massacre. On his shoulder is Autobot Lancer. She is a member of the Combiner team that forms Orthia, one of the first female combiners, along with Victorion. Down here, we got Cordon. Fun thing with Cordon is that he has an issue with his memory where he constantly forgets his life, pretty much, right? But the thing about him is that he doesn't forget the skills he learns. So say in one life he learns to be a weapons specialist, forgets his stuff, forgets his life, and then he learns to be a cook in his next life, and then he forgets his life again and he learns to be a ship pilot. Well, he'll be a ship pilot, cook, weapon specialist. So interesting thing with him. Next to him we have Hubcap, who is wielding Swindler and Road Handler, who also combine to form a gun. Interesting thing about Hubcap is he is an outlier in the IDW comics. Now, an outlier is pretty much somebody who has a function that is not linked to their alt mode. So what Hubcap can do is that he can pretty much sense, pick up, and interpret radio waves. And he is a communication specialist because of that. Next to him, we got Spinout. Now, Spinout was originally a sparkless drone. He wasn't alive. But through means that, to my knowledge, have yet to been revealed, I could be wrong, he became a fully sparked Cybertronian. But he sort of gets cucked by humans because he doesn't feel right doing something unless a human gives him an order. Strange. Behind them, we have Combiner Wars Megatron. Now, y'all may be thinking, why do I have a Megatron up with a bunch of Autobots? Well, in most continuities, Megatron starts off as a freedom fighter. He wants nothing but equality for his fellow Cybertronians, for the working class. But through various things, he ends up becoming a tyrant. Now, in a few continuities, he comes to realize what he's done, what he's become, and he changes his ways and either just leaves the Decepticons, goes off to live by himself alone to reflect on his misdeeds, or in the IDW comics, the 2005 continuity to be exact, he straight up says, I can't do this anymore, and becomes an Autobot. You know, that seems strange, because a lot of people know Megatron as a Decepticon, but honestly, Megatron's journey in the IDW comics to becoming an Autobot is one of the best redemption arcs ever, because he goes from this tyrant that's like, he just doesn't care. Like, you get in his way, he will kill you. Then he slowly starts to evolve from that tyrant who just kill you without explanation to being a tyrant that will talk to you before killing you, which may seem weird, but it's character development. And eventually, he sees what he's become because Shockwave, who's another Decepticon if you don't know, comes up with this whole plan that is threatening the universe. And Megatron's like, oh my god, what have I done? It's a very simplified version of that story, but I recommend anybody to read up on him. Just go to the TF Wiki, Transformers Wiki, and tab over to the IDW 2005 continuity for Megatron. Next to him, got Big Boy, Omega Supreme, Autobot secret weapon. He shows up on a battlefield. Decepticons better scatter because he is going to leave a trail of destruction in his wake. He is 2 foot tall in his figure. He turns into a rocket base for the Autobots to use to get around the universe. In front of him, we got Optimus Prime, of course. His girlfriend, Elita 1, sitting on his shoulder, and he is wielding Enerax and Shieldron. Next to him, we have Hound. Hound, if I remember right, it's a tracking specialist, I believe. Like, nothing is going to get past him. Next to him, we have Huffer. Now, for whatever reason, and I can't really explain why, I really like Kingdom's mold of Huffer. Like, it's just a good-looking figure. For some reason, I can't explain why I like it so much. He is the Autobot engineer, if I remember correctly, and he works jointly with Wheeljack on certain projects. Wheeljack, right there, being a scientist in his own right. Behind them, we have Ectotron, who is the Ecto-1 from Ghostbusters. He was made to commemorate one of the anniversaries of Transformers. Got Slimer there on his shoulder as well. Next to him, the big boy right there in the back, that's Volcanicus. He is the combiner of the Dinobots, Grimlock, Sludge, Swoop, Slag, Snarl. He is a knockoff version of Volcanicus. He's oversized, so he's a few inches taller than the official release. I do need to get his upgrade kit for his chest. It'll fill in some of that dead area, some of that negative space around his chest, make him look fuller, make him look bigger, bulkier, just badder in general. I really enjoy him. Sitting on his shoulder is the young Autobot Wheelie. Not much to say about him. Wheelie, small Autobot, fights with a slingshot. Quirky rhyming thing he does. Here we have my spoiler box Ultra Magnus. You guys might have seen him in another video I did, where I modified his legs to make him taller. Good figure. This particular version of him has grayed out sections, which is meant to signify Magnus in his death throes in the War for Cybertron cartoon. Next, attached to him, we also have Ractonite, who is a fossilizer. I couldn't really figure out who to attach Ractonite to, so Magnus sort of just ended up being the one I did it with. You see his skull attached to Magnus's arm over here in the fusion cannon type of deal. Here we got Bumblebee. Of course, y'all know Bumblebee. He is the little brotherly figure in the Autobots. Next to him, we got Spike, or I guess you could also say this is Daniel. It's really nondescript. Next to them, we got Blur. Now, fun thing about this Blur, sorry for it not focusing. The fun thing about this Blur is when I first got him, I didn't really like the figure all that much. But he's grown on me, to be honest. I think it's a good figure. I recommend him. Next to him, we got Hot Rod, Studio Series 86 Hot Rod, wielding Sword of Primus V2. In Kingdom, they released a new Rodimus, which came with the Sword of Primus, but it looked kind of dinky, and I said, nah, that's not going to work. So I took a Cyberverse Iaconis' sword and did it up to look like the Sword of Primus. Next to him, we have RC wielding her sword as well as her big gun. I also have the upgrade kit on her, which fills in her thighs and calves. Next to her, we got Cup, old cadre of the Autobots. Hot Rod's mentor of sorts. Next to him, got Dinobot, former Predacon turned Maximal. Just got tired of Beast Wars Megatron's BS, defected. Here we have Cheetor. I do not have his gut gun upgrade kit. That is a gut gun he is wielding, but it's from his red figure. I need to get the actual upgrade kit for him at some point. With this figure, you can also make him look like his Beast Machine's biotechnological upgraded body self by just not transforming his legs. Above him, we have Black Arachnia, former Predacon, turned Maximal, in love with Silverbolt. Next to her, we have Rat Trap with Fossilizer Vertebrate. Now, normally you're not supposed to be able to equip Vertebrate like that, but I took some things apart and used a little bit of blue sticky tack to get her to stay on him. On the branch up there, we got Air Razor. Good figure. Transforms into a bird. Good transformation, easy to transform. All that stuff, all around good figure. And then lastly, in the back there, with the axe hammer made up of Paleotrex, is Optimus Primal. Great figure. Need to get his upgrade kit too, but he's overall great figure. And with him, that is the entirety of my War for Cybertron and Studio Series and third-party figure collection that I have on my main display. Going back to my little work area over here. Alrighty, so with all that being said, let's get into why I collected all of them. So, with Transformers, you can probably tell after seeing all that they're a very diverse lot. We started off with aerial Autobots, things that fly, helicopters, jets. Next to them, we have tanks, Dealer, Warpath, Hardhead, Impactor, they all turn into tanks, military vehicles. Tri-Aries Major also counts as one. He turns into like a missile carrier. Excuse me. You got the law enforcement, Deep Cover, Red Alert, Inferno, Cordon. You know, you got the leaders. You got Optimus Prime, the role models. Optimus Prime, you know, when he becomes reformed, you can also probably put Megatron in that category because he does become somewhat of a pacifist. You know, he doesn't think violence is the answer. So you can throw him in there too. You got scientists with Huffer and Wheeljack. You got people you can look to as like relative figures like Hot Rod and Bumblebee, and just so on and so forth. You got the Beast era with the Maximals and the Predacons. There's something for everybody. I'm not going to go too heavily into it, but you also have minority representation in Transformers and the IDW comics, which are handled beautifully. Like they do a really good job of representing the underrepresented classes of people that we have in the world. As for the shows, you know, there's something for everybody there too. You know, I personally enjoy the shows and the comics. I personally enjoy the IDW comics the most. They got me back into Transformers in a big way. Like, I'd always been a fan, but for a good portion of my time, for my life, you know, it was more of just, oh, here's a toy, let me play with it, get something new. But now, having read the 2005 IDW continuity, as well as actually watching the War for Cybertron cartoon on Netflix, it's really gotten me back into things. Like I said in my last video, if I'm not messing or doing something with my figures, you know, or reading about them, or checking orders I have in, I feel itchy. Like I need to be doing something with them. I'm passionate about them. I don't know quite, you know, no, I do know why. It's because I just enjoy them. There's something there that I can enrapture myself in because there's always something else to experience. There's also something else to read. There's always something else to watch. There's always something else to get. And that's why I collect them. And that's why I think y'all, the viewers, should collect them. Because there's going to be something for you. There's going to be a story for you. There's going to be a ship for you. There's going to be a figure for you. There's going to be a show for you, a comic for you. There is something in this franchise for you, regardless of who you are. And I think regardless of who you are, what walk of life you come from, how good or bad of a person you are, you know, what gender you are, race, anything like that, regardless of who you as a person are, I think there's something you can find in Transformers to enjoy. I think it's the perfect thing to take you out of your everyday life. If you're having a bad day, there's something there that you can look at and get lost in reading, get lost in watching, get lost in messing with. Something that'll make you feel better. You know, I really don't know what much else to say about them. I love them. I love Transformers, and I hope any of you watching who doesn't collect them, who doesn't consume the media, gives them a chance. I mean, the stuff I didn't show you, I have my Unicron Trilogy figures in a cabinet. Unicron Trilogy figures, one of the best quality figures there are. They're not going to break. They look great. Like, I have one from 2005. I have Metroplex from 2005. He is in perfect condition. His axe still lights up. The electrical stuff in his axe that lights up when a cyber planet key is put into him still works. I have a Galaxy Convoy in there from 2005. Perfect condition. I have other figures in there. The only one in there that's damaged is my Scourge, who I carried around the tow truck with my dad when I was little. He's the only one damaged because I didn't take care of him. If you take care of those figures, they're going to last a lifetime. Above them, I have my Bayformers, you know, from the live-action movies. You know, Dark of the Moon, Revenge of the Fallen, and so on and so forth. I have Skids, Mudflap, I have a Studio Series World War II Bumblebee, I have the 2007 movie Ironhide, so on and so forth. If you want to watch live action movies, there's the Bayformer movies. I think they get a bad rap. I think they're better than people give them credit for. I don't think they're the best thing to ever come out in Transformers media. I would give that to the 2005 IDW comics, but I think they're great movies overall. On the other side of my cabinet, I have my admittedly pitiful Decepticon shelf. But if you like bad guys, the Decepticons are right up your alley. There is every form of bad guy within the Decepticons. You have people who are doubting the cause, like Thundercracker. You have just straight up sadistic murderers, like Sunder from the IDW comics. I want to know how sadistic Sunder is? Sunder is what's called a nemosurgeon in that universe. Pretty much, he can go into a Cybertronian's mind and mess with their memories, like erase them, change them, whatever. You know what he does? He'll go into your mind and make you forget how to transform. And then he'll insert something that causes you to transform as a defense reaction. And you'll basically turn yourself inside out in fear. It's crazy. You got the more classical bad guys like Megatron before he, reformed. You got generic foot soldiers like Refractor. You got people with cool powers like Skywarp. There's something for everybody. So, in closing, to the too long didn't read version of it is there's just something for everybody, and I hope anybody watching who's listening to my rambling gives Transformers a chance, gives the series a chance, gives collecting a chance. But with that being said, this has been Danny Ray Champ. That was my rambling. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video. Later.